How many times have you been sitting at home in the shop or the garage or wherever and been trying to do some work and suddenly realized you didn't have that tool that you needed and you were like, I was just at the store. Why didn't I grab that? Well, I got some ideas for you on the top 10, well, some bonus items here, items under $30 that are shop essentials that you might want to grab for around the house or in the shop, as it were. So let's jump into it. First off, I know it's the middle of winter here, but summer's around the corner there. And the Ryobi, we don't have a lot of power tools under $30, but the Ryobi Fan here, it is a must-have. Trust me, I'm not big into the Ryobi line. We have a few tools, to be fair, but this fan is definitely one of the go-to ones. My whole family uses it for all sorts of outings and stuff. And in the shop, being able to clip one up above, blow down on a hot day, it's a real lifesaver, okay? Next up, we've got the Ryobi 4-volt cordless screwdriver. Now, Ryobi just came out with this new whole cordless line in the 4-volt system. This is going to let you jump into it. It's a nice little screwdriver. They got a bunch of great little accessory kind of tools. They're really expanding that line this year. So that might be a choice here at $25. And that's just for the list price. Once it goes on sale, it's even cheaper. All right, next up, we've got the Fastback utility knife here from Milwaukee. A lot of guys swear by this. This one is a lot of people's favorite. It's a 6-in-1 folding utility knife, general purpose blade. Let me show you here. It even has a driver on it, so you can sit there. Look, a quarter inch bit holder there. Stores an extra blade. Has a lanyard hole. I don't know anybody. Do you know? Seriously, does anybody know somebody who uses a lanyard? I've never seen somebody use one. Anyway, quick change blade. It's got the wire stripper, the bottle opener, all of that built in. A lot of guys swear by this for $15. That's a special buy right now. $15 on that one. All right, next up, we got the DeWalt flush cut single edge pole saw. This is AKA, we often refer to it as the Japanese style pole saws. But this one, it's not bad. It's a folding saw. Let me get back into it here. It's a folding saw, so it folds nice and neat, gets it, out of the way so you can use it, or so you can store it, and then you have it when you need to use it. And, of course, with that kind of blade, it's also, a good bit flexible, so you can really get down in there and really do those cutoffs the way you need to. All right, next up, we've got the Husky saw here. Now, this is... Let's be honest. This is a saw. You got a lot of curves. Maybe you're doing some molding, stuff like that, and it's really stressful trying to get in there. And this saw is going to help you cope with that. Had to be said. Anyway, it's a coping saw, 6-inch coping saw. This is honestly a saw that a lot of people today, when I was growing up, everyone had a coping saw. And a lot of people today, I go into their shops and you don't see anything like this. And they're like, well, I could just use a jigsaw or something like that. If you're doing any kind of detail work, and it doesn't have to be crown molding, any kind of detail work, a coping saw is the saw you want to get in there and really do those small pieces. And honestly, I use it a lot of times just for I've done a cut, it was a hard angle or something, and there's a little bit of the cut left that I can't really get to. The coping saw will let you get in there and finish that. Next up is a hacksaw. This is a shop standard. Do you have one? Come on, admit it. If you don't have one and you should, put it down in the comments because I bet there's a lot of you out there who don't have one of these. And this is a nice little combo hit. You get the combo kit. You get the 12-inch high tension plus a 10-inch, there is the mini hacksaw. Look at that, mini hacksaw. So it's not the highest end one. It's from Stanley. It's $20, and that's not even on sale. A $20 hacksaw, here's the deal. You don't have to, unless you're out there stealing catalytic converters, you don't need the most expensive hacksaw on the market. A middle-of-the-road one will do. And you know what I always say? It's the tires that make the car. You can drive the best car in the world, but if you put cheap tires on it, it's not going to handle well. And if you have a cheap car and you put good tires on it, you'd be astounded what it can do. Same thing with tools. You put a good blade on this, and I don't care if it's a hacksaw, a recip saw, a circ saw, any kind of thing. If it takes a blade, get a good blade. Doesn't matter the saw. All right, it's going to really elevate your game. Same with this. All right, let's keep going here. We got next up with a channel lock. All right. I mean, there's a reason they call them channel locks. They're technically tongue and groove. That's the name of the tool. But channel locks set the bar, and everyone else has been chasing them ever since. Made in the USA, 10-inch. I always say buy American when you can. Well, here's a chance to support a great American company that's still in the state where it was founded, still supporting thousands of American jobs. $22, I don't think that's too much to pay for an American-made hand tool. All right, next up, we've got the Milwaukee 7.75 combo electrician's 6-in-1 wire strippers. I'll be the first to admit that I've been hard on Milwaukee when it comes to hand tools. They kind of over-exaggerate a lot of the stuff. I got a chance to hold a set of these the other day. They're pretty nice. I got to admit, they're not half bad. Now, this isn't part of their new Made in the USA series, and I wish it was, but it's still a pretty good set of wire strippers. I like that there is a warning on here not to use it on live circuits, or you will be unalived. All right, next up, we get a wrecking bar. You got to check yourself before you grab the wrecking bar. Anyway, you know where I was going with that. 42-inch wrecking bar. Lots and lots of uses for stuff like this. And there's so many times where I'm at one of my shops and I've, taken my wrecking bar over to another shop and I'm like, oh my gosh, where did I put, I can't do something without it. It is just so many uses, and it's not just demolishing stuff. All right. I've been installing stuff and been like, well, if I had the wrecking bar, I could sit in there, wedge it under, lift up that side of the cabinet. And because of the bend in it, it gives you a really nice lever on it. And so you can then get it set up to just exactly where you need. So your friend can drive the screw or whatnot. You think of all the sorts of uses where you can use something that is not, in demoing something. All right. Next up, we've got, again, this is kind of the solution for what I was just talking about. If you're not going to use the wrecking bar, air shims. Air shims are fabulous. There's all sorts of uses for air shims. It's one of those things you're not going to use every single day, but when you need it, there's not much that can substitute for it. $18 on that one. Of course, the wrecking bar can. But you know what? The wrecking bar, you got to worry about damage and stuff like that. The air shim is the more delicate control. All right, the DeWalt. Look at now. This one. One of the viewers just sent this in to me. He says he absolutely swears by this 3.25 stainless steel, partially serrated Tanto folding knife from DeWalt. Come on, that's a Kershaw design, right? It's got to be. It's got to be. Anyway, solid looking knife. He says it's a fantastic ball bearing assist open 440A stainless steel. Not the best blade out there, but for an everyday working kind of blade, it'll probably do just fine. All right, we got the 10-inch Milwaukee locking pliers. I love these pliers. They're fantastic pliers. In fact, I got a video coming out on them. We're going to do a little tour around them. These are great pliers. Now, yes, I did leak something a while ago showing that they're pretty much the same as the Bremen pliers, which is fine with me, but the Bremen pliers don't have that red twist lock on the end, and I absolutely love that design. I wish more locking pliers had something like that. All right, we got 10-inch straight cut Aviation snips. Again, unless you're doing a lot of sheet metal work, you may think, well, I don't need something like this. You would be surprised how many times a pair of snips has come in to save my fuzzy backside here. $12.97 on that. They're currently a special buy, 24% off. All right, these are absolutely fabulous, and I have to get another pair because my wife, you know who you are, I'm talking to you, sweetie, stole my shears. These things are fantastic. Now, they're Weiss, I don't know how they pronounce it. They got bought out by Crescent now, and they're a Crescent brand, but they're just fantastic. I absolutely love them. If I could wrestle them back from her, I would. Probably not going to happen. It looks like I'm going to have to buy my own pair. $15, going to add it to the shopping list. I try to keep a list on my phone, and when I go into a store and I go, what else do I need? I pull up that list, and I'm like, oh yeah, because I always forget. All right, let's keep going. We got bags. All right, I talk about the bags from Harbor Freight all the time. The Husky bags, I think, are just as good. Here's a 2-inch, a 2-in-1, 12-inch and 15-inch tool bag combo here for $25. Here's the thing. You don't have to carry tools in. I use them for all sorts of stuff. When we travel, we use them for accessory bags. I use them for photography stuff when I'm traveling. We use them. I have bags like this that I use for tie-down straps and all sorts of stuff in the truck. Yeah, and yeah, you can use them for tools too. No one's gonna write you a fine for that. All right, and the 5-gallon bucket head. Come on, you gotta love the bucket head. Turn any 5-gallon bucket into, it's not a super powerful vacuum, but it's a nice little wet dry vac, and you've already got, look at that, when you're done vacuuming it up, it's already in the bucket. All right, and last but not least, Husky impact sockets. And not just impact sockets, Husky sockets in general. Husky sockets are fantastic, and you can buy them onesie, twosie, and they have a lifetime warranty on them. So that's something not to forget when you're over at the Home Depot, especially if you're missing a few. Go and grab one. They're not that expensive, and they actually do a pretty decent job, I will say. By the way, these items are all in-store items. I could have included the kind of stuff you can order online, but that's all the third-party sellers and everything else. So we wanted to keep it to the stuff you could grab while you're in store. If you like what we do here, why don't you think about chomping the old like button, smashing subscribe, ring the bell on your way out. You all take care, God bless, and as always, shine on.